It's Iowa State against the unbeaten and 6th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners here in Norman. Today's game presented in high definition by Phillips Televisions. Bill Land, Joel Klatt, Emily Jones, glad to have you with us here tonight as Paul Rhodes and the Cyclones coming off a real rip job by Utah last weekend and trying to recover and see what they can come up with here tonight. They are 3-3, 1-1 in the league, an impressive win over Texas Tech the week before, 52-38. And on the other sideline, Bob Stoops, 122 wins in his 12th year. They're darn near unbeatable here in Norman as they are 69-2 in the Stoops tenure in this facility. Ready to kick it off is Mahoney for the Iowa State Cyclones. Grant Mahoney, 6 foot, 176-pounder, and Moses Madu, as well as DeMarco Murray, will be the deep men for the Oklahoma Sooners.
This Iowa State defense will be tested right off the bat to see if they can get off the field against this high-powered OU offense.
Another sellout crowd here as Oklahoma backing them in, trying to stay unbeaten into the end zone, and the touchback will bring it out for the Sooners to have it first and first and 10 at the 20-yard line. Landry Jones, the sophomore signal caller out of Artesia, New Mexico, who's thrown at a 64% completion rate and for 1,457 yards. How about the TD to INT ratio of 11-3? Done a nice job this year.
Well, very simply, Coach Stoops said we're elated with how our sophomore quarterback is playing, and you can see why that 11-3 ratio.
Murray sets up with him in the backfield. First and 10 Oklahoma. Wanting to throw on first down. And does to Broyles. He scampers out of bounds just shy of the first down as our starting lineup is brought to you by Phillips Televisions. And take a look up front for Oklahoma as the offensive line, Stevenson, Icard, Hayburn, Lubbock, and Mensick lead the way for this bunch. On this NASCAR-like offense, you don't have a whole lot of time to take time out for graphics because Oklahoma's going, sorry, truck, you'll just have to follow us because
that's right.
What was it Iowa State coaches were telling us? That they had 4 plays in less than a minute when they were tracking them. They really control the tempo. Jones completes it here and bumped out of bounds on the reception.
It's not always about taking shots down the field. This is exactly what OU tries to do early in the football game. Landry Jones on the edge, getting it to his second and third receiver in the progression.
Stills the receiver on that play. Jones quickly goes the other way to Broyles, and Broyles across midfield. And just like that, the Sooners are in Cyclone country. And over there is Wally Burnham, the defensive coordinator. 40 years in college football coaching. Got his hands full this week. Second and four for Oklahoma. Jones again rolls out. Stills has got it. First down, Oklahoma on the Sooners sideline as Leonard Johnson was covering, the junior from Clearwater, Florida.
The tough part for these corners, Benton and Johnson on the outside for Iowa State, is you want to respect the speed of some of these great Oklahoma Sooner wide receivers, and yet they keep throwing short and just moving the sticks.
5 for 5 after the passing game start for Jones, and he hands it off here to Murray, and Murray quickly gets to the 39-yard line, and Rashawn Parker, senior out of Ponca City, Oklahoma, back in his home state, making the tackle. Just as quickly, they come right back out firing the Stills inside the 35. Johnson the stop here. Now Phillips Television, a quick look at offensive line we mentioned, and backs and receivers. They've got a solid group here, and they're getting more from their fullback. Millard is just part of that talented freshman group here. They've always had good fullbacks in the blocking position, but he's a guy that can receive the football as well as run it.
In the football game here, 3rd and 1, and Millard, you got to keep your eye on him because he always has a crucial block.
Tries to set one here as Millard trying to spring Murray loose. We'll quickly take a look at the Iowa State defensive group being brought to you by Phillips Televisions. The Cyclones allowing just under 30 points a game. Linebackers Klein and Knott are the tough guys up front in the tackling area. And there's a look at the secondary, and they go to work here as again the Sooners connect to Broyles, and Benton makes the tackle for Iowa State.
Penalty flag late, thrown by the side judge. OU players clapping and a point over to the Iowa State direction.
Paul Rhodes quickly trying to make an adjustment here in this opening possession at a lightning pace that Oklahoma is setting up. Just under 2 minutes, not even gone in the game, and here's Oklahoma with a penalty now. First and 10, just outside the 10-yard line. Landry Jones. Murray powers his way inside the 5-yard line. And that isn't something you always said about DeMarco Murray. He has become a complete back for this ball club.
Well, and this is what I like most about him, is the one cut, getting north and south and gaining positive yards.
They come right back to Murray on a second down, and Murray is stopped near the 3-yard line.
These two linebackers for Iowa State have got to have a huge game. Klein and Knott, they've played over 80 snaps in 2 straight games. Let's see how they hold up against the fast-paced Sooners.
And Klein with 62 tackles to lead him, Knott with 58 coming in. Officials timeout here as an injured player. Morton, and they don't have depth at that linebacker spot. Well, Rhodes got to be concerned, any injury, but particularly there.
Morton has returned tonight after missing some time, so getting back onto the field of play. And Wally Burnham told us this week, he said, we've got no depth, along our whole defense. We've only got a couple of guys up front in the middle of our defensive line. We don't have a lot of experience in the back end, and our linebackers are having to play every single snap and on special teams.
Cyclones 1-1 in the Big 12. They lost in Kansas City to Kansas State in their conference opener before the bounce back against Texas Tech, 52-38. Jones, looking for 6. Got it! Touchdown, Oklahoma! Hanna, James Hanna.
Landry Jones kills you with consistency all the way down the field, and then drops an absolute dime in the corner of the end zone to Hanna, right on time, throwing on his feet. A great concept, inside receiver to the corner of the end zone, and Landry Jones right on time for an easy 6 for Oklahoma.
Jimmy Stevens will come on for the point after. He is 11 of 11. And this one is up and good. And Oklahoma, precision-like work offensively with 11:50 to go in the first quarter. Sooners 7-0. Hanna with the TD reception on a 3-yard toss from Landry Jones. And the scoring drive, how about that? 12 plays, 80 yards. Jones was 8 of 8 for 53 yards.
How about this for a stat? Under Bob Stoops, that is their 304th touchdown or score under 2 minutes.
Efficient? I guess so. Tress Way will kick it off for Coach Stoops now. Iowa State on the return and bringing it right up the middle. Gets it to the 30, it looks like. We'll see where they mark the football as Lewis made the tackle on the play. Ronell Lewis for Oklahoma. And Iowa State will come on with Austin Arnaud, the quarterback, 6'3", 230, the senior from Ames, Iowa. And you see that 59.5 completion rate, the all-time leader at Iowa State. He has thrown for over 6,000 yards in his career and 37 touchdowns. He's got his work cut out for him tonight against an OU defense that has not put up typical OU numbers, but is continuing to get better every week. And the rollout here by Arnaud. Scampers out at the 34-yard line, picks up a couple. Frank Alexander making the play there. Sooners scoring first possession. Iowa State now trying to bounce right back. Cyclones on the year, been averaging 328 yards of total offense per game. That's bottom of the Big 12. Arnott out of the gun. And the handoff, and nothing doing. A flag is thrown, though, as Robinson has tackled Stacy McGee in on the play.
Holding, number 72 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty and replay second down.
Just an inside rush from Stacy McGee, just beats the left tackle, Colecchio Simile, to the spot. That penalty was declined, so they'll bring up a third down and close to 11, just over 10 yards for Iowa State. This is where they struggled so much a week ago against Utah, 0 for 11 in these situations.
We'll keep an eye on Alexander Robinson because he had a bit of a foot injury, and they didn't know how quickly he would respond this week. Don't know if that was any part of that problem on that handoff and situation there. Arnott comes to Robinson. Robinson dragged down from behind. Good pursuit by Travis Lewis out of San Antonio. 6'2", 232, the junior out of Lee High School. First team all-conference pick last year. We had nearly 110 tackles. This year he's got 45 coming in.
That was a great individual effort. They had the man-to-man blitz going against Iowa State. Great play call in the screen, and yet Lewis just beat everybody to the spot and made the tackle.
Vanderkamp will kick it away. Freshman out of Des Moines. And driving it back deep. Broyles circles from the 5. In trouble. Breaks one tackle before he is out of play at the 11-yard line. Ryan Broyles on the return. Broyles has been averaging 7 yards per punt return. Sooners get it back up 7-zip on College Football Saturday. James Hanna touchdown gives Oklahoma 7-0 lead. They quickly stuff Iowa State. And now the Cyclones go back on defense. And Paul Rhodes, our Geico quote, "If we play together 11 as one in all 3 phases, we can compete." It's going to take a huge effort here. Joe, you're just saying off the air, boy, you run into this Oklahoma team when they have the rhythm they showed in that opening drive.
Yeah, it's very tough. It's very tough to face this team once they've found that confidence and momentum.
Jones pitches it out here. Broyles. That'll move the chains. Like, yep, past the 21. David Sims making the tackle, the strong safety for the Cyclones, senior out of Gainesville, Florida.
And again, the pace at the line of scrimmage, not even a sugar huddle. This is true no-huddle style offense, almost like a 2-minute drill, or what a lot of coaches are calling nowadays NASCAR tempo.
Fake to Murray. Broyles breaks a tackle. Knocked out near the 29-yard line. David Sims on the play. Our 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Philips Televisions. 2nd down here and 2 for the Sooners. Murray slips as he tried to make the cut upfield at the 30. Going to be a yard shy of the 1st down.
That's the one aspect of OU that I think needs to improve the most is their running game, the physical nature at the offensive line.
And coming again, he dives, but I think his forward motion is stopped shy of the 30-yard line. It would appear to be a punt situation.
Looks like they are going to potentially bring that punt team out, and here they come onto the field. But Jake Knott, number 20, and A.J. Klein, number 47 for Iowa State, in there again on the tackle. These are 2 guys that are going to be in most every single play for the Iowa State defense and doing a great job stopping that run and getting off the field on 3rd down, a huge key in this ball game for the Cyclones.
Oklahoma to punt it away. Here you see Tressway back to kick, and it'll be Lenz on the return. Oh, whoa, wow, what a pop that was at the 32-yard line as Winchester with the big hit. We'll take a break, and after this timeout, we'll check in with Rick Renner for Academy Sports and Outdoors Game Prep. Iowa State gets a nice defensive series, and now they get it back with decent field position. Let's see what they can work with it as Jeff Woody gets the carry, and not much as Oklahoma answers defensively.
The second time already tonight that Stacy McGee, number 92, from his defensive tackle position, has absolutely blown up the play for Iowa State. That's a great penetration play, gap control play from a defensive tackle.
Second and 10. Austin Arnott steps into the pocket. Oh, just misses an open receiver. That's Darius Reynolds, who had found a seam. Phillips Television's bringing you the starting lineups, and there's the offensive line. And backs and receivers. We told you about Robinson. Be careful of the injury. Franklin is their leading receiver, as he comes in with 25 grabs for 279 and a couple of touchdowns.
Boy, Arnott had Reynolds down the middle of the field, but was unable to settle his feet. That's a consistency that the Iowa State coaching staff was talking about they need from Austin Arnott. They need him to set his feet and make that throw.
Third down and 10 for the Cyclones. Sellout crowd going loud here. Arnott in trouble. Escapes one tackler and then is hammered at the 36-yard line. And Austin Arnott brought down by R.J. Washington, as well as Stacy McGee. And there's a look, Phillips Television, the defensive line and the defensive starters for Oklahoma. Beal is just an absolute monster. Linebacker Ward is a vastly improved player. And their secondary, there's a couple of playmakers there. In fact, a whole group of them. And watch out when Jefferson plays that nickel or lines up as a linebacker. It comes in the freshman that Emily was talking about in the pregame comments. And Vanderkamp kicks it away here. Boyles will stay away from it. Takes a Cyclone bounce inside the 5. So, special teams in the kicking game. Iowa State is able to flip the field, and we'll see what Oklahoma does backed up inside its own 5-yard line as we send it down to Emily Jones after that 60-yard punt.
Well, guys, a bit of a shakeup here in Norman as they were preparing for this Iowa State game, and I mean that quite literally. On Wednesday, there was an earthquake, and the epicenter was 6 miles from Norman, Oklahoma. It was a, oh gosh, no, it's not happening again. It's not happening again.
Is that your mic shaking?
No, it's my cameraman having some fun with me. But it was a 4.6 to 5.1, depending on who you ask, magnitude. No serious injuries. Minor damage done, and Bob Stoops said he cleared all of his staff out from the offices because they're located under the scoreboard. They said they cleared everybody out, hung the pictures back on the wall, and got back to work with just in 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it scared a lot of folks around here that they're used to some nasty weather, but not earthquakes in this part of the country. You saw the thundering run by Moses Madu as he gets him out of the backyard of their own end zone almost, and now they get that up-tempo going again, and Landry Jones is just having a superb start to this ball game. It's 2nd and 2. Hand off here. Iowa State stiffens, but should have the first down near the 29-yard line as A.J. Klein makes the tackle on the play. Also Latimer there, number 48, Jacob Latimer. Landry Jones, 11 of 11 for 79 yards. 6:14 to go in the first quarter. Right across the middle, another open receiver, and another first down out to the 40-yard line as Oklahoma getting whatever it wants. Leonard Johnson makes the tackle, that time on Franks.
Right over the middle, Landry Jones does a nice job of scanning the field, getting to his secondary wide receiver, Franks, and then ultimately completion over the middle.
And they come back with DeMarco Murray, and Murray rolls to the 46-yard line before Klein makes the tackle.
This is that pace that Iowa State is so concerned about. Those linebackers got to get off the field.
Jones going deeper this time. Oh my, what a grab! Broyles with a sensational catch. Talk about Velcro hands. hands.
His hands, the athleticism, the vision to go up, catch the football in your hands, come down with it, secure it through the end of the catch, and then again Oklahoma at the line of scrimmage with the fast tempo.
And this one just off the hands of Franks. But Ryan Broyles listed as a 37-inch vertical jump.
Explosive guy, very explosive guy, and this was almost a back shoulder type of throw down the football field. Landry Jones, probably an ill-advised throw, but just the athleticism and explosiveness from Broyles was able to go up there and catch that ball for a big gain.
2nd and 10 for Oklahoma. On the 25 of the Cyclones with a 7-0 lead. Murray makes one miss, cuts it back up, and Murray stopped at the 22.5. Jake, not the tackler for Iowa State.
A lesser running back, and this offensive line would probably be getting a lot of grief. And here's that catch from Broyles, just unbelievable to go back for the football, watching for it. That's great vision and anticipation, but even better hands from the wide receivers. That
34-yard pass play have set him up and quickly into scoring position again. 3rd and 7 for Landry Jones. Drills it right across, and tackle by Klein. Big hit by Klein. See if that brings on the kicking unit for a 4th down situation.
And it will. And Iowa State doing their job early in this game defensively. The only worry for Wally Burnham, the defensive coordinator, has got to be the fact that they've been out there for a lot of snaps. Those snaps, that's going to continue to wear down this defense. But Oklahoma with a try now for points on the board, about 37-yard field goal. That's going to be Jimmy Stevens, going to be attempting this from the right hash as they're trying to get everybody on the field.
Now,
Oklahoma calls their first timeout, 30-second timeout.
Oklahoma was going to get a delay of game there as they were late getting a player on, and Bob Stoops, you know, that burns him, that he's got to burn a timeout here as the Sooners call timeout, or they'd have been pushed back another 5 yards. It's a 37-yarder coming up for Stevens.
This defense for Iowa State, it's going to be led by A.J. Klein, their middle linebacker. He's in on almost every tackle. What I love about him is he plays with such a great base. He's fundamentally sound from the linebacker position, and he's a smart player. A football IQ is a coach's dream, especially at the middle linebacker position, dropping into the correct zones, and usually that's where a middle linebacker can make his hay, is if he understands his responsibility within pass coverage, which A.J. Klein definitely does.
Now the 37-yarder by Stevens. Plenty of distance, as best as 42 this year, and it is good as Stevens now 4 of 5 in the field goal game on the season. He has split the kicking duties with Patrick O'Hara, and Stevens tacks on 3 more for the Sooners with 4:13 to go. First quarter here in Norman at Owen Field.
Bob Stoops wants his young team to continue to develop as a football team. He knows they're explosive. They've had leads. They've had, in fact, 15-point leads every single game this season, but they don't know how to finish yet. That's the mark of a mature team. He's got to get this young, explosive team to grow into that mature finishing team that he wants, that can ultimately win championships. So this is a prime opportunity. Even though it's in the first quarter, you got 10 quick points, and your defense is going out on the field. A great mature defense is going to go out and get the football back for your offense right away.
Yeah, the Sooners, we look at those defensive numbers. They're allowing 411 yards total defense. That's 11th in the league, and they've been giving up 22.8 points, which isn't too bad. That's in the middle of the league, 56 nationally. But they haven't finished in the fourth quarter of some games, and that has allowed some people to stay a little closer than they would like. Way kicks it off here, and it's brought back by the Cyclones across the 30 and to the 31-yard line. On the return was Johnson, and we may see some more of Johnson in the backfield as he's picked it up running-wise this year. Let's send it back down to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, and an interesting challenge for Iowa State. For the 3rd straight week, they're playing a team that's had a bye the week before. The results so far, a win over Texas Tech, and then, of course, that loss to Utah. OU coming off that bye week after their win in the Cotton Bowl over Texas. So their opponents with some extra time to prepare for them the last few weeks.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Not just the prep time, but the fact that you know teams after an off week are going to come back fresh and excited to play regardless of who the opponent is. And Johnson on the carry here, Chantrell Johnson, a freshman from DeLand, Florida. And look at this meat grinder of schedule. You talk about toughest in the country. Yep, there it is, and that's the current opponent record. You knew going in it was going to be tough, and it's lived up to it.
Well, Texas Tech had a bye, and then last week against Utah, they were a top 10 opponent. Now you're on the road against a top 10 opponent that's 69-2 under their head coach in their own building.
And next week, it's in Austin to meet Texas that just bumped off Nebraska. Johnson looking for an opening. It ain't there. Swarm tackling. Alexander and crew leading the way.
Pursuit defense from Oklahoma. As soon as they stretch this out east and west, or horizontally as I call it sometimes, they're going to get you because of the speed and athleticism, not only of their front four, but the second level at the linebacker position. Tom Ward, very good. Clearly Travis Lewis, one of the better ones in the country. And then their secondary, I think an underrated secondary in the Big 12.
Austin Arnaud, difficult situation here, facing a 3rd and 11 from the 30. Cyclones down 10-zip. Arnaud going to keep it. Still looking. And completes it for the first down in Oklahoma territory. Nice job done by the receiver, Jake Williams, to stay into the play as Travis Lewis had put the pressure on the quarterback.
Austin Arnaud does a sensational job of understanding where he is on the football field. Very close to going over that line, the initial line of scrimmage, but ultimately completing that pass. That's exactly the type of play that Iowa State needs out of their quarterback to stay in this game. 23
yards on the pickup, and the Cyclones 1st and 10 at the 42 of the Sooners. Hand off to Woody. Stopped at the 40, picks up a couple. Tom Ward, redshirt freshman from New Braunfels, Texas, makes the stop for the Sooners.
And Jeff Woody, a redshirt freshman for Iowa State. He's their power back. He's not going to necessarily make you miss, but he can run through arm tackles, so they're trying to set a little bit of a physical tempo here for the Cyclones late in this first quarter.
2nd and 8. Sellout crowd, 82,112 capacity here. And passing play picks up a couple. Carter makes the tackle on Colin Franklin.
This is what's so difficult about facing Oklahoma, is that Carter, from his safety position, he's going to inch down before the snap, but then he just crashes down into that flat area. The reaction time from Oklahoma is always quicker than any other team that you're going to play as an offense, and that's what Austin Arnaud is dealing with right now.
3rd and 4 at the 36. Incomplete. Flag thrown in the secondary.
I think they're going to get the great true freshman Tony Jefferson on a hold. He was on the right side of the offensive formation guarding the slot receiver, Darius Darks. That's the direction that flag was thrown in.
Holding, number 28 of the defense. It's a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Actually called that on Travis Lewis.
Travis Lewis is the player that said earlier this week, we want a shutout. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator, said, well, good, let's go get one, because they're threatened right now. Last year they had 3 shutouts. This year their defense has given up some big plays. They've been solid and sound for most of the game, but big plays have been the ones that have hurt.
Only 2 down linemen now, even with 2 backs in the backfield.
1st and 10 at the 26, 106 to go in the first quarter. Not much happening for Arnaud and crew that time. Alexander and Lewis, the tacklers for Oklahoma.
And Alexander and Lewis actually brought Arnaud to the ground, but Tom Ward is who made the play for Oklahoma's defense, number 21, the redshirt freshman out of Texas. He played great backside defense from his linebacker position, not over pursuing over the top of the option. Austin Arnaud was looking for the cutback lane, but there Ward was securely sound, fundamentally sound in his positioning, and ended up making the play.
Yeah, Ward, 10 tackles against Texas. This is a guy redshirted last year because he was injured, played very sparingly. He's really come along quickly, taken over with the injury to Box. And again, OU's defense, Travis Lewis leading the way. Tackle on it, and it's going to be well, we'll see if we get into the playoff this quarter or not.
Lewis working against the center, Ben Lamach, in the middle, and he sheds the block extremely well. We see Oklahoma all the time working before the game with Brent Venables, the linebackers. They get into blocks and then they shed them. They're constantly shedding away from blocks. And right there, Travis Lewis does a great job, brings him down. Now it's a big third down for Iowa State when we come back.
Oklahoma in control, but Iowa State trying to get on the board. You're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Take a look at the Jack in the Box game summary as we bring you back on Big 12 College Football Saturday. Landry Jones, 14 of 15. Don't know what happened on that one pass. Joe circling 25 plays in the first quarter.
Boy, on pace for 100 plays. That's exactly what Iowa State doesn't want to see. Their defense has played far too many snaps in the last two ball games against Texas Tech and Utah to go out there against probably a faster and more talented team than those two teams and be out there for that number of plays.
All right, for Iowa State now, Joel, they're sitting at a 3rd and 11 on the 27. You don't get it here. You're talking, what, a 44-yard field goal attempt? And they line up with trips to the left side. Austin Arnaud, the quarterback. Loops it. Out of bounds. Trying to connect down there with Darius Reynolds.
That's just a poor throw and poor execution from Austin Arnaud. There was not pressure in his face. The pocket was not collapsing. Tom Ward blitzed from the top side, but he retreated and threw a fadeaway fade out of bounds. No one's going to catch that in bounds. That's exactly what they're talking to him right now about, and now you got to attempt a 45-yard field goal. Sometimes you got to stand in the pocket, try to deliver an accurate ball down the field, and take one in the mouth.
That means Grant Mahoney, the junior from Marion, Iowa. He's booted a 52-yarder last year. His longest this year is 46. This one from 44, and no good. So Mahoney goes to 7 of 10 on the year in field goals, and Iowa State remains scoreless, 10-0 Oklahoma. Oklahoma with a 10-0 lead here, second quarter action. Big 12 college football, well, more next week, as well as outstanding action for the Pac-10 as well. Things all start with Iowa State in Austin, 11 a.m. Central against the Texas Longhorns. Arizona State and Cal from the Pac-10 is the sandwich in between, and then Texas A&M and Kansas will go at it up in Lawrence next Saturday night. Boy, the Aggies took a thumping from Missouri. It stays unbeaten. Big win for Missouri today down in College Station. Of course, Kansas wondering what happened after Kansas State mauled them in Lawrence on Thursday night. Here is Murray to get them going on a 1st and 10 after the missed field goal attempt. Patrick Neal makes the tackle for Iowa State. DeMarco Murray coming in number 9 in rushing yardage in OU history, 3,022 yards. Broyles steps back to catch the football, has the first down, and that'll move the chains.
Go back to that running play, and what I like so much from Murray is he presses the line of scrimmage, and then he cuts back. He waits to get into the line of scrimmage, creating that cutback lane before he actually puts his foot in the ground and cuts back. That's a mark of a great zone scheme running back. Good vision, and then the ability to press the line of scrimmage and explode backside. He just needs this offensive line to continue to get a rhythm and play more physical. Their pad level's too high. They got to bend their knees and stop bending their hips and try to get that line of scrimmage won.
Murray just picks up a yard there, 2nd and 9. He averages 110 a game. That is 18th nationally. Pitch and catch to Broyles. Effective in the first quarter, and Broyles having a big night. Broyles, the leading receiver, with 46 grabs for 518 and 4 touchdowns coming in, and he moves the chains again as Sims and Washington make the stop. 10 yards on the pickup, and quickly Landry Jones goes to work, going deep this time for Broyles. Right there defensively, Leonard Johnson for Iowa State.
Great D from Leonard Johnson, staying between his man and the ball. Landry Jones trying to go for broke there. all the way down the left side. That's a far throw all the way from the opposite hash to try to get that ball all the way on the go route to Ryan Broyles. I like the idea. It was a good pass, just better coverage from Leonard Johnson.
Johnson, terrific play in Oklahoma. 2nd and 10 at midfield. Jones, a strike across the middle, and picks up around 9 on the play. And Miller, the receiver, Trey Miller, the freshman from Columbia, Missouri.
I can't get over how talented this guy is. He's a fullback, yet he's out on a wide receiver route running a curl.
In Oklahoma, quick hitter, and has the first down across the 40 down near the 39-yard line is DeMarco Murray. Murray coming off a huge effort in that Texas game 2 weeks ago. 115 yards, 2 scores, caught 4 passes, 31 yards. And that tightrope run down the sideline. Jones going for 6. Broyles, touchdown Oklahoma. Oh, mama, what a play.
Landry Jones off the big play action, good footwork, stepping away from the rush, and then delivering the ball high and down the field to Ryan Broyles, letting his speedy wide receiver run under it, and the concentration to go in there and retain that football through the end of the catch. We see some guys drop it once they hit the ground, but a great wide receiver, Ryan Broyles, hauls it in for the touchdown. What a sensational play for the Sooners.
Broyles on the 40-yard TD reception, his 10th catch of the half. And Oklahoma tacks on the extra point. Sooners in control, 17-zip. Full house on a beautiful night here in Norman, Oklahoma, enjoying the 6th-ranked and unbeaten Sooners start, 17-0. Now they said officially a 39-yard pass play to Broyles. And Broyles, with his 10th reception, has tied an Oklahoma record for most receptions in a half that was set by Iglesias, King Iglesias, in 02. I beg your pardon, in 08. And we still have 13:06 to go here in this first half. Here comes Johnson on the, I beg your pardon, on the return. Take another look at that touchdown.
You know, we take a look in the throw. I love how Landry Jones steps under the throw, and then you can tell he kept his eyes on the wide receiver. That allows the football to turn over. The nose of the football, you want it to turn down towards the wide receiver as a quarterback when you're trying to throw that deep ball. Ryan Broyles hauls it in for the touchdown. They're looking at Ryan right now over on the sideline. He possibly landed on the football just a little bit awkwardly. We saw it kind of up near his collarbone on the left side when he hit the ground.
Oh, they don't need that. They don't need any injury to that receiver. Sims, by the way, was the return man that time for Iowa State's name corrected. Hand off here, and A-Rob, as he's known, Alexander Robinson, he carries. Travis Lewis makes the tackle at the 32-yard line.
Robinson looks healthy tonight.
Yeah.
You know, he was battling some ankle injuries coming in, but Robinson looks fairly healthy. He's cutting well. He's as explosive as I've seen him in the past, so this is somewhere they're needing to get him going right now to establish some momentum and continuity with their offense.
Senior from Minneapolis, Minnesota, averages 4.8 a carry for his career, and he's at 2,800 plus yards. And this time, moving the ball forward toward the 38. Let's take a look at the pregame as he was testing out that foot.
He was doing a few different types of calisthenic drills to test that ankle in the warm-ups, but he tested it out. He felt great. Told the coaches and the training staff, I'm good, full go. Don't worry about me. You give me the rock, I'll try to get it done.
There's no doubt Iowa State. Oh, Arnaud was not ready for the football. Bounces right off of him. Quickly smothers it. That could have been a disaster.
Miscommunication. Ben Lamont thinks he gets the snap signal, which is actually a hand signal that he watches for under his legs. He thinks he gets it. Arnott is looking to see if the sideline wants to change the play, and Lamont snapped the ball. Very lucky to retain possession for the Cyclones.
Very fortunate. Lamont, senior center out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Sure glad that his teammate jumped on that one. Second down and long, and knocked out of bounds on the play is Williams as Devontre Hurst on the play for Oklahoma.
And this is what is so difficult. You get behind the chains, and you don't want to just sit in the pocket because you know OU is going to tee off with those great defensive ends, Stacey McGee. We've seen him in the backfield with some penetration early in this game. And so they've got to roll the pocket. The problem is you can't get the ball down the field when you roll the pocket. Now you're still in the 3rd and 12, 3rd and 11 situation.
And Iowa State with 53 yards of offense at the moment. And
Iowa State calls their first timeout.
Cyclones trying to get on track, trailing 17-0. All season long, Champion Apparel will be showcasing the history and traditions of the Big 12 Conference. Tonight we highlight Oklahoma. Champion, it's how you play.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. Who needs Superman when I've got Soonerman? Why are you guys pretending to? I knew they were going to get about it. Well, McDonald's is looking for the fan of the season. All you got to do is send your video to fanoftheseason.com for your chance to win $10,000 towards a fan cave and other great prizes. Just hit the website and enter today. And these guys have one message, and what is it?
We would like to thank our mothers because we love them.
How about that? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, does it, guys?
Better thank whatever parent or both that are funding your fun experience here tonight. The college experience. Arnaud trying to enjoy his and not right now, but wait a minute, he drills a receiver. He connects with Jake Williams, and that'll be a first down at the 45 of Oklahoma. Heck of a creative play by Austin Arnaud.
For all the inconsistencies that Austin Arnaud has played with early in this game, now you see the athletic ability and the elusiveness to get away from the great pass rush from Oklahoma and ultimately find Jake Williams down the field and move the chains. A critical first down for Iowa State, who needs points on this possession.
19 yards on the pickup, and that play is what probably drives the Iowa State coaches a little batty, because you see that incredible play.
You're right.
And say, yet sometimes just making the simple play, he'll overthrow a receiver or whatever.
Well, we saw him earlier in the game on a 3rd down throw the fadeaway fade route and not set his feet, and it kind of left me shaking my head up here at why he would do that and not set his feet. And then the incredible athletic play to get out of the grasp of the OU rush and get the ball down the field for a first down. But that can be something that Iowa State needs to jumpstart this offense. They definitely need to move the chains and ultimately get points.
Franklin, his second reception, and it's 2nd and 6 now for the Cyclones at the 41. Oklahoma still in control, 17-0. Jontrell Johnson going to find some kind of gap, and not there against Oklahoma as Fleming, the junior out of Arlington Seguin on Texas, makes the tackle.
This is what's so tough from Oklahoma. From the corner of your screen, you're going to see the cornerback. That's not necessarily a blitz. That's him in a cheat technique. They used to run this versus us all the time. They cheated from the boundary corner, and as soon as he reads run, he inserts himself into the run defense, and there's no way the offensive line can account for him. He makes the play 100% of the time.
And us not being the TV crew, but Colorado, Joel's days there with the Buffaloes.
The flag game on Thursday.
We ain't messing with these guys. Robinson with a reception and then tackle by Travis Lewis on the Cyclones sideline at the 38.5-yard line, still shy of the first down.
Travis Lewis runs to the football as good as anybody in America from his linebacker position. His pursuit is really second to none. I think that's what separates him from several other linebackers. A lot of guys can do what he does between the tackle box, but what he does outside in the screen game, in the flat route, defending the pass, that's what separates him and makes him a great linebacker.
He's about to move into the top 10 of OU's all-time tacklers.
That's amazing.
And number 10 is Leroy Selman at 335, and Lewis came in with 298. And remember, he's a junior midway through the season.
Well, earlier when he was a freshman, he beat Brian Bosworth's record of 133 tackles with 144. 17-0 OU.
Welcome back here in Norman with Oklahoma, 6th ranked and unbeaten, 17-0. And we've got 8:54 to go in the half. As Austin Arnott, big 4th down coming up for them. 4th and 4, 39 of the Sooners. See Austin 7-9. Total offense, Oklahoma 238, Iowa State 78. And the quick kick now, as he took it, boots it, and nicely done. Down near the 11-yard line where it is down. Well, Oklahoma's story tonight, we led things off with about their trio of stars, and Ryan Broyles and Landry Jones have hooked up, what, 10 times already?
10 times already in the first half. A lot of short passes on the outside early, allowing Ryan Broyles to use his elusiveness in space. And then we saw the down the field passing game, the touchdown on the post route. Broyles made a sensational catch there deep in the end zone. And also that vertical explosion, we saw him jumping and catching that ball over the Iowa State defender the play before. So Ryan Broyles really showing you the repertoire of his ability.
Broyles, 10 catches, 131 yards. And here's Roy Finch, who we were wondering if he would see action tonight. Finch is another one of those young players they're very excited about, and he is a freshman from Niceville, Florida. He's got great speed, 5'8", 180 pounds, his first action as a Sooner. And you see that speed and that elusiveness.
This is a guy, if you can sense a buzz in the stadium, it's because everybody has been waiting for Roy Finch to play football for Oklahoma. This is his first action, now his second carry. You see the explosiveness. He's built like a rock. The only question is Bob Stoops doesn't know how much of the offense he actually grasps. So this is a good position for him to be in.
Just give him the football and get out of the way. As he again bursts right up the middle to the 46-yard line.
How about the offensive line? I mean, anybody could have run through that hole. You could drive a truck through that. Roy Finch gets north and south and gaining positive yards for Oklahoma, but good explosion out of the backfield from the youngster.
18 yards on that pickup. Boy, how jacked is he? Now they go back to the passing game, complete to DeJuan Miller, and Miller is stopped at midfield to put him with the 49 of Iowa State. First and 10 line is brought to you by Phillips Televisions. 7:28 and counting here in the first half. Sooners trying to tack on more to a 17-0 lead. Landry Jones hands it off to Murray. Murray close to the first down. Looks like he's going to be a yard shy at the 45.
It's interesting reading the articles out of Oklahoma all week. A lot of them talked about Roy Finch. A lot of buzz in the air from the Sooner faithful about Roy Finch. And I kind of wanted to sit there and call a timeout and say, hey, you still got DeMarco Murray. He's maybe the best running back in the country. You know, as far as a versatile back, he probably is. His ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. He blocks very well on the edge, and he's one of the best guys in between the tackles that you'll find.
He's got some pretty amazing numbers considering the injuries that he has suffered over his career. You just knock on wood for him and the Sooners that he's able to maintain his health, because he really is a complete back. Here's a look at Finch, the freshman who came in at 3 carries, 35 yards. First down on that one, and now look out. Murray shows you that power and the speed and the balance. Oh, and he nails our cameraman as well. Dave says, I'm all right, as Leonard Johnson made the tackle. Flag is thrown as well.
Murray, we just talked about his versatility. We see the power and the speed, the combination. Let's hope our camera guy, Dave, is okay.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask on the defense.
He's laughing about it.
Did Dave get that foul?
And it's a first down.
Was that a personal foul on him for making a tackle? As he puts the camera back together.
It was him. It was a face mask on Dave. Just the 5-yard variety, though. Don't worry.
He can take a hit right back up. Here's Oklahoma again. 6:08 to go. First and goal from the 7th. Landry Jones to Murray. Murray keeps pushing. And flag thrown again. Let's go back and take another look in your living room.
Fade to black. Attaboy, Dave.
Oh, the workman's comp. I can see it now. How's that back? Oh, wait a minute.
The last play, Oklahoma, illegal formation. That's going to push the Sooners back outside of the 10-yard line. Now they're going to be back at about the 12. Bob Stoops just absolutely giddy about the young talent here in Norman. I mean, they've got a lot of it. Emily did a great job touching on that in the open. Roy Finch, another guy getting his debut for the Sooners here tonight. Tony Jefferson probably been the biggest contributor as far as a true freshman thus far this season, along with Trey Millard.
First down, and this time Murray gets inside the 10, down to near the 7.5. Jake Knott, Jimmy Reeves, the stoppers that time for Iowa State.
Let's remember, Marco Murray has 55 touchdowns in his career, just too short of Steve Owens' OU record of 57.
Landry Jones delivers. Broyles, did he get over? He tried to hang the ball over the goal line and did not get in.
Broyles does the correct thing, reaching for the goal line, but his knee is down. That's a great shot. He is short. Clearly, he's down. That ball is not a fumble, but short of the goal line. But this sets up well for DeMarco Murray.
Yes, it does. Murray, 9 touchdowns on the ground this year, 55 in his career, and a handoff. And it is a touchdown, but it is not Murray, as Oklahoma takes it in with Millard, the freshman fullback, and he gets his second touchdown of the year, his first on the ground.
And another true freshman, and this guy has also been a huge contributor for the Sooners, and the ability to run this trap, the fullback dive from that position and get the tough yards. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, inside the 1 on a 3rd and goal. Millard is a guy that they're absolutely excited about. One of the most talented fullbacks maybe in college football already as a true freshman.
Here's Jimmy Stevens for the point after. Right in the middle. And Stevens stays perfect on the season in PAT. Millard out of Columbia, Missouri gets the touchdown, and how about that? 4 out of 5 possessions with points for Oklahoma, including 3 touchdowns and 2 drives of 80 and 89 yards.
Just the number of plays there, you know. Horses are getting tired. Jake Knott, A.J. Klein from Iowa State, they're getting tired.
They got backups for the Schooner Wagon?
They don't have backups for the horses, and Wally Burnham doesn't have backups for the Cyclones either.
No.
You know, they're very thin on the road, trying to find answers to stop this Oklahoma offense. But right now, Oklahoma's offense is playing extremely well. The one missing link that I saw from film was their inability to really just grind it out with the running game. What did they do in the last series? They opened it up with Roy Finch. He got the ground game going up to the 50-yard line. Murray with a terrific run down. Dave tackles him out of bounds. And ultimately, it was just a methodical running game drive getting the ball into the end zone for Oklahoma. And that's scary for opponents like Iowa State or even future opponents like Missouri next week for Oklahoma.
Making things shake here tonight, as Iowa State has felt the effects. And, got to come out now as Johnson, indecision. Then he quickly burst to nearly the 20-yard line. Shows you some of his speed after he finally made the decision to come out of the end zone.
You do not want to hesitate on the kickoff. You want to run with patience, but you don't want to hesitate. This is no man's land for a returner, but he does his job. After that point, just trying to get north and south and getting that ball back to the 20-yard line. He almost got there. Ball's at the 19 as they attend to a Sooner down on the field.
And that is Ronell Lewis.
Another great young player for this team. He's a sophomore. Played 8-man football in high school. Josh Heupel went to a small town in Oklahoma, and he was just going to speak at an FCA event down there, and he ended up watching a football practice of an 8-man football team, and he saw this kid flying around, and he said, man, that kid could play for us. And they started recruiting him. His high school out of Dewar, Oklahoma, ended up playing regular 11-man football his senior year, but this is a guy that they've been very excited about in Norman. Already 1.5 sacks on the year. He's recovered a fumble. As they look at his knee, let's hope that this is not too serious, because he's a guy that, as he continues to grow into his body, he will probably move down to a defensive end position as he continues to go as a junior and a senior. He's been an outside linebacker.
And athletically, he's got a strong suit.
Yes.
He had 10 tackles in the Texas game last weekend, and it's again after only playing 1 year of 11-man football in high school. Then you come in here, he's catching on quickly, and hopefully he will be all right. You see him feeling around the knee, you just can't help but be concerned.
We're going to try to take another look and see where Ronell Lewis, he's right in the middle of your screen, and he goes down. No one's actually hitting him, but he's trying to change direction. That's where you get very concerned for those ligaments within the knee, which is the knee they were looking at, the right knee of Ronell Lewis. So let's hope it just gave way, but he is going off the field awfully gingerly.
Iowa State following that kick return, and 1st and 10 on the 19. 4:24 to work with here in the second quarter. The Cyclones just trying to get on the board, keep their defense off the field for a moment.
The total yards graphic is absolutely unbelievable. Over 300 for Oklahoma already, not even 100 for Iowa State.
Stopped at the 23-yard line, Arnaud. Travis Lewis making the tackle that time as the Sooners stiffen, and it'll be a 2nd down and 6 coming up. Arnaud, one back with him in the backfield, 2 wideouts to each side. Oklahoma showing blitz. Arnaud delivers quickly, and Franklin will move the chains out across the 33-yard line.
And good recognition from Austin Arnaud. He sees that this is cover 1, man-to-man coverage, and Tony Jefferson's just too far off of Colin Franklin, the tight end. It's an easy hitch route, take what they give you, and then run after the catch. Good execution from Iowa State.
Freshman Tony Jefferson, the tackler for the Sooners. 1st and 10 at the 33. Handoff up the middle. Johnson spins, whether Robinson, and now goes to the 41-yard line of Oklahoma before Beal gets the tackle. There you see some of the ability of Alexander Robinson.
Yeah, and he's got great ability. 10 career 100-yard games for Alexander Robinson, and a terrific spin move late in the secondary on Jonathan Nelson, the safety for OU. But you see the type of ability that this senior from Minneapolis has.
24 yards on that run. Iowa State in OU territory. Clock's still not a big problem. 2:56 to go. That defense is, though. Arnaud just unleashes it.
Yeah.
Bob Stoops going crazy.
This is
gotta
going
be
to be grounding. He wasn't out of the tackle box. He didn't throw it past the line of scrimmage. They're going to confer, drop the flag, and here we go.
Alexander McGee giving chase.
Intentional grounding by number 4 of the offense. So loss of down at the spot of the foul, and it's 2nd down.
Austin Arnaud in the tackle box trying to get out. He was just a couple of yards outside of the hash. Normally you got to get close to midfield. If that ball is snapped on the hash, you got to get close to midfield for them to actually say, yeah, you're out of the tackle box. Plus, he threw it behind the line of scrimmage, which is another no-no for a quarterback in the grasp of a defensive player.
So it's 2nd and 20 after the intentional grounding. And Arnaud keeps the football, needs a block. Didn't get much help out there from the wideout Reynolds. And he does get back to the 41.
Boy, great play call. They go cover 0. There's nobody in the middle of the field, and they just ran a quarterback draw. I mean, that's great anticipation from the play caller, Tom Herman, offensive coordinator for Iowa State, to catch OU, trying to get them even further behind the chains. Now they got a bunch back, and you're in at least a more manageable situation at 3rd and 8.
Cyclones. 3rd and 8 at the 41. Arnott unloads, nearly picked off. He was trying to connect with Darks, and there's Jefferson. Washington put the pressure on Arnott.
He's been man-to-man all night long, and you see the type of coverage ability that Jefferson has on the outside. Just a true freshman. I know Iowa State's probably hoping for a flag there, you know, too much contact with Darius Darks. But Jefferson, just a smothering defender on the outside. Love the way this guy plays defense.
Cyclones going for it on a 4th down and 8 with 2:02 to go in the half at the 41. Arnott, a little bit of time and cannot connect with Franklin. So Oklahoma will get possession. Great field position at the 41 and 157 to work with.
And Brent Venables has got to be happy with his defense because he has affected the mindset of the quarterback, Austin Arnott, on the other side. Austin Arnott is not settling his feet. He's not throwing in rhythm. And you can tell by when you throw the ball too quickly and it's overthrown, that means your heart rate is too high. You're not settled as a quarterback. He's got to settle down and allow the game to come to him if they've got any chance to get back in this game here in Norman.
Landry Jones. Looks over to Murray. And Murray across midfield to the 46 of Iowa State.
I love what Landry Jones does of continuing to invite the rush upfield and allowing them to get out of the way so that Murray doesn't have to contend with them on the backside of that screen pass. And now another quick completion on the outside as they get it to DeJuan Miller, the junior from New Jersey, who's another sensational kid on the outside, 6'4", 221 pounds. But again, the tempo, this NASCAR tempo.
13 on the first pickup. They pick up about 5 on the next pass play, and then Stills quickly grabs it, gets out of bounds, stops the clock. Here's what's coming up in the McDonald's halftime report. Rick Renner, Pat Jones in the studio. A lot of action, top 25 and highlights. Of course, Texas knocking off Nebraska, Ohio State and Wisconsin. Big battle up at Camp Randall going on. They'll have it all in the McDonald's halftime show. Earlier today, you might have seen Texas A&M lose at home as Missouri stays unbeaten. They're home now, waiting for Oklahoma next week in a huge matchup up there. Across the middle, Broyles. And Broyles inside the 10-yard line as Jake Knott makes the stop.
Landry Jones is going to have unbelievable statistics in this first half, but that play alone was made completely by Ryan Broyles adjusting to the football on his back hip and spinning all the way back to catch that ball.
161 yards receiving for Broyles on 12 receptions now, which is a new Oklahoma record for a half. And look at Jones and his productivity in the stat you just saw. Going to work again and complete to Broyles at the 7-yard line timeout.
Let's go back to that play. And DeMarco Murray, how about the block on the inside? The NFL scouts are going to love to see the ability of not only recognition as far as the defensive alignment, but also the physical nature to get him down, and then the adjustment on the outside, stopping on a dime, reaching all the way back, extended arms, showing his great hands. We've seen that a couple of times from Broyles. These two guys are just showing you, this is almost like a highlight film for this at the next level. They're just showing you why they could be possibly first, second round type draft picks.
Broyles is having a good month in a half. I mean, 13 catches tonight and 43 seconds to go. Oklahoma with a 24-0 lead and sitting right on the 6-yard line.
It's just such a problem for a defensive coordinator. Wally Burnham probably sits there and says, okay, you know, Jones is in too much of a rhythm. Let's try to blitz him. Well, he's got too many weapons to go too quickly, and so it's hard to blitz him. So you sit there in coverage, but you can't get a pass rush. It's just such a problem facing OU's offense.
Even Texas last week had problems getting lined up against Oklahoma. That's how good the Sooners are when they get this offense rolling. As Murray just a yard shy of the end zone, Knott and Benton there. And Oklahoma using its last timeout.
a 3rd and goal. I'd like to see this ball go to Murray. What a sensational career he has, and obviously Wally Burnham's going to try to come up with some sort of defense that is sound and run responsibility now inside the 1, because this ball is probably going to go to Murray. We've seen Millard be successful on short yardage runs, but I want to see it go to Murray because he deserves touchdowns at this point. He's played far too good for this program and done more for this program than a lot of guys have, scoring 55 touchdowns. I know Steve Owens is in the house here at Owen Field tonight. He wants to see Murray get in the end zone possibly a couple of times and at least tie or potentially break his own mark. So Murray's sitting on some very prestigious marks here for the Oklahoma Sooners, now at the 1-yard line, trotting back on the field.
He's 2nd in all-purpose yardage career-wise with 5,500 plus, and he's running tonight for over 70 yards already here. And Murray dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma. And Murray hits number 56, 1 away from tying Owens.
The straight ahead fullback lead ISO play inside the 1. It's a physical play, and the explosiveness of Murray going up and over the offensive line and defensive line into the end zone. This offense has clicked on all cylinders in the first half tonight.
And Stevens comes on for the PAT with 32 seconds remaining. And it is good. DeMarco Murray, the Sooners. Watch out, Steve Owens. Look at that. Billy Sims with 53, Owens 57. That's some very special company, as DeMarco Murray with 56 touchdowns, and this is game 6 of the season. So he's got a long way to go well past that mark. Let's take another look at number 56 for DeMarco Murray, the senior from Las Vegas.
You got to have a back with a nose for the end zone, and Murray definitely has that. He also has the strength and the awareness to hold on to the football. We see a lot of guys go up and over the top, but a lot of them lose the football. You know, it takes great strong hands and the awareness to keep the football away from the defense and the correct arm to hold on to those footballs there inside the 1-yard line. Murray already a touchdown here tonight, getting to that 56 number. You know that in the back of his mind, he'd love to get that, but he's a team-first guy. He works hard. He's one of their best practice players for Bob Stoops, along with Ryan Broyles. But you know in the back of his mind, he'd love to get that next touchdown, possibly a second one, and pass Steve Owens.
Here's Johnson on the return from the goal line to the 20. Johnson need a block, spins, flag is thrown as he tumbles out of bounds about the 37-yard line. Might be a face mask. We'll have to wait and see for the call. And speaking of Murray, he's already had 4 100-plus yard games. He had that 208 in the opener against Utah State.
Personal foul, grabbing a face mask by number 43 of the kicking team. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's a first down.
So Iowa State moved the football out. 24 seconds to go, Joel, and they at least will have the opportunity to maybe take a shot or two here.
Yeah, you bet. They've got a timeout. The clock will stop if they are able to move the chains, and they're only going to need, I'd say, about 20 yards, maybe a little bit more to get into at least manageable field goal range.
And Paul Rhodes is interested in field goals at this point, but we'll see. Arnott. He escapes a bunch. Now decides to just keep the football and make the best of it, and he is tackled at the 44-yard line, and a timeout is called.
Iowa State calls their final timeout.
12 seconds remaining in the half. Tom Wart finally corralled him. And it'll be second down. Paul Rhodes, not what he had planned on this night being like. But he certainly knew the chore at hand in Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma looks like a team that is fresh, Joel, and excited to just be back on the football field. The momentum of getting the big win down in Dallas against Texas, a week off. It wouldn't have mattered who the opponent is. I think they were going to be ready to go tonight.
Well, and when you win that game down in Dallas in the Cotton Bowl, whether you're Texas or Oklahoma, you know that you've got big things on the horizon, and their team is playing like it tonight.
Franklin steps out of bounds with 7 seconds to go at the 37-yard line. Now, Bob Stoops is unbeaten in his tenure here after the Texas game. So 7 seconds to go. First down, not the big deal. And Arnaud going to try to get one more and finds Franklin again to get out of bounds and see if they can get the field goal. They've got the guy with a leg in Grant Mahoney, as Mahoney was one of 3 in the nation last year that had 3 50-plus yard field goals that were successable.
Missed a long one earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Not by much, though. It's a good kick. Just missed the left upright by a hair.
And this is a 50-yarder. So can he do it for the first time this season? He is 7 of 10 on the year, as long as this year 46. Going for 50 and not going to make it. And that ends the first half. It was domination by the Oklahoma Sooners. They blitzed them on their opening drive and did not let up, as the Sooners with a 31-0 lead. And somebody get the traffic light out, would you? Paul Rhodes stopped to briefly do a radio interview with the Cyclone Network, and it looks like he's actually commenting on the traffic jam. I don't know, but it was a clear path to the end zone for Oklahoma on many plays. Here's Bob Stoops with Emily Jones.
Wants to remind all Sooner fans to always buckle up.
Well, we'll hang on just a moment because Coach Stoops had to move away. Now I think we're set. Emily?
Yeah, Coach Stoops giving some final instructions to his coaching staff.
Getting off the field.
There you go. Let's just talk about the performance of Landry Jones, 25 of 27 to start the first half.
The guy's talented. He's really coming of age the more he plays, and he's been playing well. He's had a bunch of good football games. And the receivers are making some excellent catches for him, and we're running the ball too. It helps when all that's going well.
The offense not the only phase getting it done. Is this the most complete half your team has played?
Definitely, but we got to keep building, and we need to play well in the second half.
Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Time now to pitch it to a break. When we come back, the McDonald's halftime show from the studio.
Welcome back to Norman, where homecoming is a success halfway through with Oklahoma, a dominating first half performance, 31-0, the halftime lead. We're glad to have you back with us here, Bill and Joel Platt upstairs. Well, Oklahoma can't spend enough superlatives, if I could spit it out, because they have just been almost perfect.
They really have. And let's start with Landry Jones, because he almost was perfect. Only 2 incompletions. He was 25 of 27 for 248 yards and a couple of touchdowns. It started early. I love the way that they gave him an ability to get settled in this game by the short throws on the outside, and then he began throwing the football down the field. Once they had softened up that coverage, I thought he played his best half of the season. That goes without saying, but he played his best mechanical half of the season as well. Great feet, throwing on balance and on time. You see the big 3 for OU. Ryan Broyles, a huge night so far, 13 catches for 165 yards. And DeMarco Murray, with that 1 touchdown, draws himself within 1 of Steve Owens for the OU record. He's got 56 touchdowns now in his career, just 1 shy of the 57 that Owens had in his career here with the Sooners. So the Sooners getting set to kick it away. Iowa State will receive this kick, but that offense no doubt wants to get that football back as soon as they can, because there's a lot of guys on record-setting paces here tonight. Ryan Broyles already in the first half ties his own OU record with 13 catches.
And Academy Sports and Outdoors with a look at those those first half leaders, and the three guys that we spotlighted before the game in Oklahoma still jacked as the kickoff by Way goes out of the end zone. And let's send it down to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, I talked to Paul Rhodes on his way out of the locker room. He said he's got to get that Oklahoma offense out of rhythm. Somebody's got to make a play. They've got some penetration and not let Landry Jones just pick apart that defense. As far as his offense is concerned, he said we've got to finish drives. We've gotten into their territory, and then we've shot ourselves in the foot by making bad plays or picking up penalties. So it's a matter of getting the OU offense out of its rhythm and getting into one of its own on offense for the Cyclones, guys.
Thanks, Emily, and we'll see what Iowa State can come up with on this opening drive as they get it 1st and 10 from their own 20, and most of the 81,000 plus coming right back into the stadium to cheer on their guys. And incomplete to Robinson, the intended receiver. Our first half stats: Oklahoma total yardage 250 more than Iowa State.
But I think the big stat is the one that's not even on there, or excuse me, the plays 50 to 32. 50 snaps in the first snap. That is playing some fast football for Oklahoma.
Well, they had 25 each quarter, didn't they? Remember the end of the first period we're looking at, they had 25.
Stayed right on that pace.
Yeah. Here's Robinson. Cuts it up forward and then stumbles just a bit. Travis Lewis makes the tackle. Quentin Carter also there. Iowa State possessions. They had 2 missed field goal attempts and not much else to work with this evening when they had decent field position on 3 of the possessions.
Decent field position and the drives, the 9-play drive, 2 9-play drives and a 7-play drive. Those are the drives that Paul Rhodes is referring to when he says we have to finish better, and he's looking for his senior quarterback and senior wide receiver to go out there and play a more consistent half in this second half.
Arnaud got a little time and delivers, and so does the secondary as Quentin Carter hammers Darius Darks, but Iowa State gets the first down and moves the chains, and you see Carter's the one that's holding his shoulder after 11-yard pickup.
Yeah, it was a great body control catch from Darius Darks across the middle, adjusting to the football, thrown behind him by Austin Arnaud, but Carter still holding his shoulder. He was taking a knee, and now he's going to have to come out of the ball game.
And Carter with 2 interceptions, and one of them versus Texas.
He's a guy they can ill afford to lose in that secondary. I know that they've got great young talent, but he is a physical specimen in the secondary, and he's also one of the leaders on defense. He's a great practice player. And trust me, when you got young talent, it's great to have young talent, but you've got to have guys, and Brent Venables has them, that are seniors and that they practice well to set the tempo for the young players.
And Carter, a senior out of Las Vegas, and a guy who was a second-team All-Big 12 pick last year. This one complete to Johnson, and then rushing up out of the secondary is number 3, Jonathan Nelson. He came in with 37 tackles on the year.
Jonathan Nelson did not have his best game against Cincinnati, but he rebounded against Texas. He played extremely well. And now what we see is a very good form tackle from Jonathan Nelson, bending at the knees, not allowing the outside arm for the Iowa State Cyclones to get free. Coming up, that's great support defense.
Nothing doing for Johnson as Lewis again there to make the stop. Travis Lewis, a tackle machine.
Travis Lewis, even when there are blockers on him, he's able to make plays. That is a prototypical linebacker type of guy, a great mentality, loves to get in the middle of every single play. 11 tackles tonight. He's flying around the football.
3rd and 10 at the 34 for Arnaud. Incomplete and nearly picked off as Demontre Hurst, the sophomore from Lancaster, Texas, was there to knock it away.
They play field and boundary corner, and by field I mean wide side of the field, and Demontre Hurst is their field corner, which means he's always in space. He's usually got to run large distances with the wide receiver. He's a great cover corner, and he showed us on the last play his ball skills, getting in front of the wide receiver and batting that ball down.
And be forced to kick it away. Kirby Vanderkamp averaging just under 44 yards a boot. Gets a great one here, and it is down inside the 5-yard line. It'll be at the 4-yard line. Great kick again by Vanderkamp, trying to give him a bit of a boost with it 31-0. Boots 160 yards. Cyclones and Sooners, second half action in the Big 12 with 12:23 to go in the third. Oklahoma starts from its own 4-yard line. And in the end zone, it's Landry Jones handing it off to DeMarco Murray, and he bursts right out across to the 11-yard line. Jake Knott makes the tackle for Iowa State. As you look at the first half possessions for Oklahoma, scoring on 5 of the 6 possessions in their 50 plays. Here's Murray again. Well, that nice little deficit that Iowa State thought they built up with the kicking game. Murray, 2 carries, says, okay, now it's out at the 20. Well, now what do you want to run?
When you're inside the 5-yard line, it's called coming out. You got to get 2 first downs. There's the first one. You got to continue to move this football out in middle of the field.
Landry Jones just been incredible. Rattery makes the reception and breaks a tackle and goes into Iowa State territory before he's shoved out of bounds at the 41. Benton there to stop maybe a touchdown.
And the former walk-on tight end runs a terrific route, getting open, finding the hole of the defense, and then getting back to the quarterback, giving him his frame. Landry Jones, accurate as he was in the first half, comes out even rolling to his left, delivering that football to Rattery, and then the physical run at the end of the run. That's what I would love to see if I were a coach, is my tight end, my fullback, my running backs, my big wide receivers punishing the defensive backs anytime that they can get a chance.
A 40-yard pass play as Rattery making the most of it, and you're looking at Ray Parker, who was the down player and had a medical hardship redshirt season last year because of a knee injury. Still has troubled him some, and the co-captain is helped off the field, and he's an Oklahoman as well, so you know he definitely wants to have a good performance here tonight.
He's a guy that they've been expecting to make plays for them. Injuries have hampered him over the course of his career. Very talented player, came into the game 14 tackles on the year, 6 foot, 250 pounds, and Paul Rhodes, as he sees a defender walk off the field, and Ray Parker knows that he does not have depth, especially at that position. Now, I believe Roosevelt Majid is going to have to come out, a sophomore from Riviera, Florida.
For Rattery, that was his longest reception of the season, just his 5th grab on the year. Had a touchdown in the Florida State game, though. And here is Still showing you his athleticism and speed as he burns toward the sideline, trying to turn the corner. David Sims finally cuts him off, but another first down for Oklahoma.
I sound like a broken record, but this is another true freshman, and you can see why Bob Stoops is so excited. Now a freshman on the outside, stops on a dime, gets back outside. That's explosiveness out there from Kenny Stills, true freshman from Encinitas, California.
Landry Jones still with just 2 incompletions on the night. Murray looking for that opening and then cuts it up across the 25 to the 23, and Rumpelhammer makes the tackle. Stephen Rumpelhammer, who went to Tulsa Union High School but came over from Holland a few years ago. And another Iowa State player is down, and I think that is Rumpelhammer. So a couple of the Oklahomans getting hurt on back-to-back plays for Iowa State. He's their best inside defender as well. 6'3", 280, a junior. Born in Holland, moved over in his high school days here to Oklahoma, and then ends up at Iowa State. And remember, the Iowa State coaches this week, Joel, were talking to us a little bit about just the fatigue of having to play the level of competition. Remember, they played Iowa, of course, at non-conference. Had that early conference game. You come back, they beat Texas Tech. Utah comes in, the number 10 team, knowing what's ahead next week as well. That they haven't had that off week to kind of heal up a little bit. And when you're thin anyway, it's just a perfect storm in a negative way.
Especially when you got guys that are tired, that's when they get hurt, you know, and I'm not talking about tired just within a series. I'm talking about weeks upon weeks playing defense.
And Oklahoma comes right back on the ground. This is Roy Finch, who saw his first action in the first half and was impressive, and Klein makes the tackle. Finch, in his career in his high school in Florida, 626 touches, 6,433 yards. I mean, and
Explosive
70
player.
touchdowns.
Explosive player. And this is the perfect opportunity for Bob Stoops to get him some more touches here at the college level. Rushing yards, Oklahoma dominating the line of scrimmage tonight. 160 yards on the ground.
Some of those at OU kind of comparing Finch to maybe a Darren Sproles type. Great K-State back, of course, in the NFL now. Here's not making the stop on Finch this time.
Finch would have been playing earlier this year, but he actually hurt his ankle in fall camp. That's the only reason that he hadn't made his debut yet. Some would ask, well, why do you need to play or burn a red shirt from Roy Finch if you got DeMarco Murray? Well, hey, DeMarco Murray's going to be in the NFL next year, and you're going to have somebody with experience and some snaps under their belt to go in there and fill in for him. So that's why Roy Finch is getting time here tonight.
Pass just uncharacteristically, particularly tonight, behind DeJuan Miller. Yes. Jones now 27 of 30 for 302 yards.
If you rush a slant throw to your left shoulder flies open. Normally you throw it behind him. You got to set your feet and throw it balanced.
Drops this one off. And here's Murray. And Murray dives into the end zone with touchdown number 57. He has tied Steve Owens.
Dialing up a screen pass, one of the most dangerous aspects of what OU does offensively. Great athletic offensive linemen, a couple of former tight ends in there out in front of DeMarco Murray. And then you've got one of the most explosive players in college football in space, and he has a nose for the end zone, and he finds it again, his 57th touchdown of his career.
Yeah, the touchdown maker. Marco Murray and Stevens on for the PAT, and Jimmy Stevens, Jr. of Oklahoma City, knocks it through, but here is the touchdown by Murray, 38-0.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma, and this a very special game for the Oklahoma Sooners because there are some very special spectators in the house tonight. This is a very special program for the Oklahoma Sooners. These kids got the ultimate treatment today, a tour of the OU locker room. They got to try on equipment. They got their picture with some players. They actually visited with head coach Bob Stoops before the game, got to try on his rings, took a tour of the Switzer Center. Some of them struck their very own Heisman poses. It's a tradition that Bob Stoops established 7 or 8 years ago to participate in the Special Spectators program. And these kids get a break from everyday life and get to live the life of an Oklahoma Sooner. And guys, in just a minute, we're going to talk to a representative from Special Spectators about just what an important event this is.
Just a tremendous thing that Bob Stoops has got the whole school involved in. The kickoff goes in the end zone, and we'll send it right back down to you, Emily.
And we're joined now by Blake Rockwell of the Special Spectators program. And Blake, just talk about how jazzed these kids get to come to a game like this.
Well, how can it be wrong being in an atmosphere like this and meeting Coach Stoops in his office, getting into the locker room, meeting some of the players, greeting them at the stadium. This is a fantastic time for all these kids.
Listen, and I got to be in the room when Coach Stoops greeted these kids, and he knows these kids on a very personal basis because he visits the Children's Hospital in Oklahoma City and has developed relationships with these guys.
Absolutely. He knows all of them by first name basis. He's been visiting the hospital for years, and unfortunately, a lot of these kids have been treated at the hospital for years, and he gets to know them very, very well.
Backup quarterback Tiller comes on here for Iowa State, trying to make something happen, and he does as he moves the chains out to about the 40. Emily?
Well, one thing I did want to mention, as I was leaving Coach Stoops' office, he said to me, "Hey, Emily, let's get a challenge out there to the rest of the coaches in the Big 12 and see if they can't do that at their schools." Just talk about his personally wanting to make this a mission for the entire conference and all of college football.
Absolutely. He's making a challenge to some of his fellow coaches in the Big 12. Hopefully they can get involved. Coach Gundy, we did a fantastic event at Oklahoma State 3 weeks ago, and he's fully behind it as well. And we'd love to have not just all the schools in the Big 12, but every FBS school participating in Special Spectators.
Okay, so all those Big 12 coaches watching at home, Bob Stoops throwing down the gauntlet and challenging you to become involved. Really is a really cool program. It was neat to see the smiles on these kids' faces, and Nobody wants Bob Stoops to one-up him, do they?
No, nobody.
That's right. Thanks so much, Emily. And she mentioned there, Coach Stoops, this isn't like, oh, just let him come into the stadium here. It's like, no, he visits, he's with those kids all the time. It's a regular thing, and we know coaches around the league are involved in a lot of charitable ideas and giving back to the community. This is one that's terrific that I certainly hope everyone will accept that challenge.
And it's such a great opportunity to keep perspective as we see some of the kids and enjoying themselves here at Owen Field, watching the Sooners really play their most complete game of the season thus far. And I just got to commend Bob Stoops to understand the perspective. Listen, we can get ourselves so wrapped up into football and who wins and who loses, and sometimes we can lose perspective as sports fans and even the athletes and coaches themselves. And so I commend Bob for keeping some of that perspective in mind and
understands the impact he's able to have by opening his doors and being willing to participate in all of those community activities. Well, here is Tiller, and Jerome Tiller, not much more luck than Arnaud as Oklahoma corrals him, and Jamarcus McFarland with a sack on the play. Tiller is a sophomore from San Antonio, Texas, and he was the player that was key in the win against Nebraska last year when Arnaud was hurt and out.
Yeah, he keyed that 9-7 win. In fact, threw a touchdown pass in Lincoln. And Jerome Tiller gets placed in the ball game, but that's a tough position to be for Jerome Tiller, just a sophomore from San Antonio, because when OU smells blood in the water, they start attacking, and their athletes are very fast and very physical.
Broyles on the punt return. Stutter steps out near the 35-yard line where the Sooners will get it back 38-0. After this break, we'll check in with Rick Renner for an Academy Sports and Outdoors game break. Wow, college football, week to week, you just have no clue what's going to happen.
That's why we all love it.
It's totally unpredictable. Of course, the Big 12, Nebraska's wondering what happened as Texas went up there and took care of business and knocked them off. And here Oklahoma has been deformed. Madu fumbles it, though, after a nice run. Iowa State signals they've recovered it at the 43-yard line. Moses Madu had a nice run to get across midfield, but then couldn't hang on to the ball. And
Jacob Latimer comes up with the football at the bottom of the pile, the junior, number 48. Madu just takes a hit in the secondary, wasn't paying attention to the details of keeping that ball secure, and Iowa State knocks it loose. This is exactly what you don't want to see from Bob Stoops' point of view, and this is exactly what you do want to see if you're Paul Rhodes, your team fighting and continuing to compete for the full 60 minutes.
Well, I'll be surprised if that doesn't happen, because there's one thing that he has put a stamp on in just his second year of the program, is that they're going to give great effort. Tiller on the pitch, gives it off, and Robinson runs out of room on the sideline. Travis Lewis there to take care of it for Oklahoma. 7:23 to go here in the third quarter. First and 10 line is brought to you by Phillips Televisions. Sooners 38-0. Oklahoma, their big three have had a huge night tonight. Andy Jones thrown for over 300 yards. DeMarco Murray has tied the all-time touchdown mark. Broyles with double-digit receptions. Meanwhile, this one complete to Franklin. Nelson makes the tackle as Tiller connects with him, takes it to the 50, and it'll be second and short coming up.
I really like the way Jerome Tiller sets his feet and gets his shoulders square and level. You know, being a quarterback is, you're almost kind of like a cannon. You got to have your shoulders level in order for that football to come out accurately, and Jerome Tiller is doing that on this series.
Third and 2. Oklahoma trying to stiffen at the point of contact, and nice job of stuffing the run. We'll see where they spot the football, just across the 50 somewhere. Lewis making the tackle. Tiller came in here and played in 2 games, 11 of 23 passing, 87 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. And quickly on the 4th and short, go for it. Oklahoma saying no way.
That's going to be close. If it's this linesman that's going to spot this football, they're going to be short. They needed to reach just short of the 48-yard line. They're well short of that. It's going to be first down, Oklahoma.
So Oklahoma, great field position.
Trying to create a quick snap count. Jerome Tiller just never moves his feet. You see how his feet never moved back there. You got to churn your feet as a quarterback. You get the ball, and then you just cradle it down to your chest, and you churn your feet as hard as you possibly can, and you never go straight ahead over your center. You always get to either his right or left hip and allow that gap to propel you forward just a little bit for that first down.
Oklahoma up to the challenge, and then Iowa State puts a pop on Finch as Klein makes the tackle. Stopped at the 49 of the Cyclones.
Finch is going to be getting a lot of snaps here in the second half, which is very good for his development as they kind of enter this second half of the season. They'll need some depth at that position.
Game 6, and again carries the football.
Snap this ball. Right about the
Murray. DeMarco Murray headed for another big night, as already with the 2 touchdowns, and Murray closing in on the century mark as Sims and Sandvik make the stop for Iowa State.
And Iowa State is trying to substitute, get fresh bodies on the field, and it's so difficult because Oklahoma snaps it again at the 24-23, now 22 seconds.
This pass thrown dangerously close to being picked off as Broyles, the intended receiver. In fact, I mentioned Murray, that last run put him over 100. 19 carries, 101 yards for DeMarco Murray, his 5th 100-plus game in the 6 outings for OU.
I would say that they're playing 5 to 6 seconds slower per snap than they were at the first series of this game. That just gives you a kind of an idea of the tempo from OU.
Broyles, 25 and out of bounds. Well, what the beauty of, I would think, Joel, this offense is that you do it just like a gear. You just shift it into whatever fits for the purpose of the game.
Well, and they don't have to substitute. You see, this is Trey Millard out there getting a block. He was the fullback. That's what versatile football players do for you. You can keep the same 11 on the field and quickly snap the ball and yet execute everything that you need to do both on the outside and in the running game between the tackles.
Go. Hand off here, and Finch barrels with hands tightly around the football down to near the 16, 17-yard line, and Ryan Broyles, his 14th catch tonight, a new single-game record. Broyles, you might recall, last year in the Sun Bowl, had 13 receptions, 3 touchdowns, 156 yards. He had 5 multi-TD games a year ago when he caught 89 passes and scored 15 times. Broyles to this side and pushed out of bounds by Benton.
Broyles just on a lateral bubble, and what we used to call this was bazooka when I played. And if you actually call a run play, the wide receivers run the bazooka, and then the quarterback chooses between the run play and the bazooka whether he's going to throw it or hand it off. And the beauty of it is the lineman can go downfield because you're throwing it behind the line of scrimmage anyways.
Broyles' 4th game this season of double-digit receptions. Finch is tripped up at the 11. 3:50 and counting here in this 3rd quarter. Oklahoma comfortably ahead 38-0. Bob Stoops 69-2 here in Norman.
That's an unbelievable record as OU quickly snaps it for a quarterback sneak. And that's exactly what I was talking about. What Jerome Tiller did not do for Iowa State on his quarterback sneak, Landry Jones executed perfectly for his quarterback sneak. He gets to the right hip of his center, Ben Hayburn, and he continues to churn his feet. There's always pockets or bubbles in the defense. You got to find that as a quarterback when you call the sneak. Find it, churn your feet, get the first down.
And they do at the 10, 1st and goal. Murray breaks a tackle. Murray going for the record to the end zone. Touchdown, DeMarco Murray. He surpasses Steve Owens, the all-time all-time touchdown maker in Oklahoma history.
Hold on to that football, DeMarco, and he is. Getting the congratulations from his coaches and his team. Trying to run the power to the left side, but this is what an explosive back with vision gives you, and then the ability to make somebody miss in space, get into the end zone. That's why he scores so many touchdowns, and he is now the all-time leading touchdown scorer at the University of Oklahoma.
58 touchdowns. Stevens boots it through for the extra point, but the focus on DeMarco Murray. What a run to set the record with.
Showcasing everything that makes him great. The speed, the vision, the elusiveness. DeMarco Murray now being congratulated on the big screen as the cheer goes up at Owen Field. And a well-deserved cheer for DeMarco Murray. He's been a great Sooner now in his senior year. And he's been a great leader this year more specifically, and that's exactly what they needed with the type of youth that they were bringing in that needed to not only play, but contribute in a large way. And the reason some of those young kids can play so well is because a guy like DeMarco Murray goes out there and he practices his butt off on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and he sets the example and the tone for the program. As we see the list of the names that DeMarco Murray just passed, Steve Owens and Billy Sims.
And Murray, who's done all of this through fighting through all kinds of injuries and having to rehab and come back, and just has become, as they'll tell you here at OU, he's a complete back now. And wow, what a night for Murray and the Sooners. 45 zip as O'Hara kicks it off this time. And it is down in the end zone by Johnson, and Iowa State will bring it out.
He's had knee problems. He tore his hamstring in the Big 12 championship game against Missouri and Kansas City right before that BCS national championship game against Florida.
That might have cost him a title, right?
It absolutely might. I mean, he is a game changer. And many people, including Bob Stoops, as we were talking to him yesterday, said, boy, if we could have just had DeMarco Murray on the field down in Florida, you know, that could have changed. I mean, the guy scored more touchdowns than anybody in OU history. You think you want him on the field for a national championship game?
Maybe. Iowa State, 1st and 10 from its own 20. Tiller, the quarterback again. Hands off to Chantrell Johnson. Johnson, a freshman from DeLand, Florida, who came in here. He run 29 times, was averaging 7.5 yards per carry. He's a guy that they are expecting big things down the line from. So Iowa State at 3-3, they need a break, and they aren't going to get it. I mean, this football team is just going through a gauntlet right now. And Tiller keeps on the second down situation, is tackled at the 23. Lewis and Alexander there.
It's a frustrating night for Paul Rhodes. We asked Paul Rhodes if there was one thing that you want people to know about your team, what would it be? And he said a very simple and succinct answer. He says, we play hard. And that's what he's expecting of these kids right now, even though it's 45-0 in the third quarter.
Yeah, last week, Utah whipped them 68-27 in a game that they led early over Utah. Just caved in on him as this one is complete to Reynolds, and he's out of bounds on the Iowa State sideline of the 35.
You got to wonder if this team has just run out of a little bit of gas. You know, a high-octane game. They score over 50 points against Texas Tech. They come back. They got to play 80 defensive snaps against Utah, who's a very good top 10 caliber team out of the Mountain West. And then you can see they're up 14-10 at one point in that game, and then the bottom fell out, and it hasn't returned here in Norman either.
1st and 10 at the 35. Incomplete, did not have possession as he went out of bounds. The receiver, Darius Darks, a junior from Austin, Texas.
I like what Paul Rhodes has done at Iowa State. You ask around the conference to all the coaches in the conference, and they'll tell you that the guy probably doing the best job around is Paul Rhodes up in Ames.
Well, last
Very
year,
well respected.
comes in there, and Gene Chizik had a few decent recruiting classes in the short time there, but they go 7-6, beat Minnesota in the bowl game, and that has catapulted them with a win at Nebraska into more homes, and their recruiting has continued to pick up. But it is a long process in football. It's not like basketball where you happen to hit on one stud.
Exactly.
You can turn a program around in a year.
You've got to get depth, which Iowa State does not have right now. It takes years to gain the depth needed to become a program that can sustain the type of play that is needed to succeed in the Big 12 Conference.
3rd and 9 at the 36 now for Jerome Tiller, the sophomore quarterback from San Antonio, Texas. Final minute coming up here of this third quarter. Tiller chased out of the pocket, drops it off, and bang, as Darks is hit hard and fumbled the football. Oklahoma picks it up, and they're going to whistle it dead. Sure took a long while to blow the whistle.
Darius Darks over the middle. We've already seen Quentin Carter, number 20 for OU, with a big hit previously in this game. Tiller escaping pressure in the pocket, trying to deliver the ball over the middle, and Quentin Carter with authority from his safety position coming up and dislodging that football. And let's hope Darius Darks is okay. He gets that helmet kind of in his back, almost in his shoulder blade area. That's a dangerous position to be hit. Quentin Carter physically is one of the most impressive players that I've seen on a Friday walkthrough. They just walk out there, they're in their shorts, their t-shirts. OU does have a very fast-paced walkthrough, but this guy is an NFL caliber safety in my mind. He's fast, he's quick, he's physical, cut out of the mold of, and he's not quite to this level even at the college level when this player was in college, but a Troy Polamalu type, a very forceful run defender type of guy.
Darks being attended to, and we just hope he's all right. And just a terrific shot that he took. Colvin was the one that ended up with the football for Oklahoma. Another one of their fine young freshmen.
True freshman.
Out of Owasso, Oklahoma. And the injury woes continue here for Iowa State tonight. You know, and you hope Darks, by the looks of it, be surprised if he returns tonight. But next week, he's from Austin, going back to play the University of Texas. You know, he certainly wants to have the opportunity to play in his hometown.
Yeah, there's no question he's going to want a chance to play in his hometown. But Quentin Carter from Las Vegas, Nevada, another one of those seniors. The key for this team, there's really been two keys for OU, and Bob Stoops talked about it with us yesterday, Bill. He said, you know, yes, the young kids have been a huge key to our success, but, and I talked about it with DeMarco Murray, it's been guys like Beal, Lewis, Carter, on the other side, Broyles and Murray, the seniors that have taught the young kids how to practice, how to prepare, how to lift in the weight room, all those different things. That's been the real key for the success for the Sooners.
Stills is back on the punt, slides to the catch at the 25, and Oklahoma, you may see a quarterback change here. Landry Jones may be done for the night as homecoming, and Oklahoma celebrating it in style with a 45-0 lead here. And the new quarterback is Drew Allen as he comes on, and Allen is a redshirt freshman from San Antonio as well, out of Alamo Heights High School. 2 of 2 for 14 yards is what he's done so far this season in his limited play. He comes out firing and completes it to Brandon Caleb. Caleb, senior from Richmond, Virginia, on the reception. And Knott and Sims make the play. There's Allen, 2 of 2 for 14 as he played against Florida State, his only action this season. Landry Jones takes a seat with 334 yards, 30 of 34, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
30 of 34.
You're the math whiz. What's his passing efficiency number going to be after that?
Number 38 of the defense.
Goodness.
5-yard penalty, and it's still second down.
I would venture to guess to say it would be perfect, whatever that number is.
Yeah. Well, somehow he screwed up and there was 4 incompletions. I mean, probably got to watch the film, don't you? Is that what the coach? Well, we got to look at the film. It looked pretty good to me, but
for sure. I could be wrong. I think that the perfect number in college football, which is a little bit different than the NFL, is actually 198.
Yeah.
I'd guess it'd be 198. How could it be any different, right?
Well, we'll find out, I'm sure. That wraps up the third quarter. Oklahoma, very impressive on a record-setting night. You're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Welcome back. Take a look at our Jack in the Box game summary after 3 quarters. Landry Jones, 88% completion mark tonight on 30 of 34. Oklahoma just about flawless, and the record-setting DeMarco Murray, his 58th career touchdown, getting 3 tonight, passing Steve Owens, the all-time OU touchdown list. And Drew Allen, quarterback, the first and 10 here, and incomplete. Intended for Brennan Clay, another freshman out of San Diego, California.
He's a guy that looking forward now with Madu and Murray going to be graduating after this year, both seniors. Finch and Clay are the guys that they're looking to fill those shoes. Clay, 5'11", 192 pounds, a little bit bigger than the shorter, stockier Finch. Clay, a very good player as well.
Allen. And dropped on the other side by Clay. Time for the Whataburger what a play. Got to be DeMarco Murray with that terrific touchdown to set the new record here in Norman of 58 career touchdowns. Whataburger what a play, DeMarco Murray.
3rd and 10.
Oklahoma 559 yards of offense through 3 quarters to 183 for Iowa State. Allen tucks it under. Took a pretty good blow as he goes forward to the 41-yard line before he's brought down by Knott and Latimer. We were wondering about the completion percentage record for a game here at OU. Look at Murray. Landry Jones, 30 of 34. Well, got to go back. Jack Jacobs went 8 of 8 against KU back in 41.
Hey, doesn't there got to be a minimum?
I mean, come on. You got to at least make it double digits, don't you?
There's no minimum?
And Jones is an OU single game record with at least 25 attempts. Sam Bradford had 21 of 23, 91%. And Sam is the career percentage leader here at 6.95 in the season. And his career was 6.76 completion percentage. Wow. And he's showing you with the Rams that he's still pretty good.
Yes, he is, and very accurate as well.
We'll be back, 45-0. Here's the Sprint Now recap. Oklahoma, a precision-like offensive machine tonight. Landry Jones, 3 touchdown passes.
This one to Broyles was the most impressive pass of the night, but after that touchdown, it became the Murray show. Murray dives in for his first touchdown on the screen pass, showing the versatility out of the backfield. One of the best screen teams in the nation, this OU team. And then just a great individual effort, albeit it was a great hold by the offensive line, but making the defensive backs miss, getting over the pylon, and ultimately setting that OU record for touchdowns in a career. DeMarco Murray.
He scores, and 20 carries, 112 yards, 3 TDs. And Tiller getting roughed up by that OU defensive bunch. Wart and Adrian Taylor making the play. Sack as Jerome Tiller is brought down behind the line. Iowa State was 13-40 and counting with the football. 2nd and 17 after the loss on the play. The ball on the 13-yard line. Tiller going deep and out of play as he's trying to hook up down there with 7. Darius Reynolds. Reynolds had 10 grabs for 150 coming in. Gabe Lynn was covering on the play. 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Phillips Televisions.
Bill, that's such a common mistake from quarterbacks that I see each and every week is see quarterbacks throwing the ball out of bounds. It's not going to be complete. I mean, it's 100% of the time not going to be a completed pass. Quarterbacks have got to give their wide receivers a chance to at least bring the football down inbounds.
And if not, trust them enough, right, that they'll make sure that the defender doesn't get it.
That's right.
Tiller completes this one. Another big hit on the play. That was Travis Lewis. Johnson goes off. He's hobbling just a bit. Cedric Johnson.
The ability to play in space is what makes linebackers great. And I believe Travis Lewis is a great linebacker. He makes all sorts of tackles because he can play in the box, in the run box, and get outside and pursue the football. He's got good speed, and more importantly, when he gets there, he makes the tackle. He's a very sure tackler.
Yeah, not slipping away. Ruby Vanderkamp roots this one away. And here's Stills on the return. Needs to make one miss. Goes out of bounds around the 40 of Iowa State. Nice return. Timeout call with it 45-0 Oklahoma. Bunch of homecoming smiles in Norman with the 6th-ranked and unbeaten Sooners rolling 45-zip. Here's our Bass Pro Shops catch. How about catches of the game?
You talk about trusting your receiver, to throw it inbounds. So this is an example of it. And then the terrific catch from Ryan Broyles going up and getting it. And then later in the game, another great delivery from Landry Jones. An even better catch from Ryan Broyles, the seniors. Your Bass Pro Shops catch of the game. Broyles
now with 700 yards receiving on the season and 15 catches tonight to put him at 61 on the year. And here's Finch. He rambles to the 25 of the Cyclones where Leonard Johnson tackles for Iowa State. Boy, is he exciting. You see why the fans are buzzing. A 14-yard pickup.
He's built like a bowling ball. I mean, he's strong, great lower half, small little guy, kind of a jitterbug behind the line, but he's also got the power and the strength, to get things done once there's the initial contact made.
1st and 10 at the 26. Kenny was the man in motion. Finch again.
This is valuable time for Roy Finch because as we were talking with the coaching staff, the one concern that they had was, hey, he's been injured, and entering an offense like ours with all the logistics that OU goes through with the hurry-up tempo, the signals from the sidelines, all the things that they do as far as calling a run play but allowing Landry Jones the ability to throw it to the wide receivers, the motions, the pass protections. For a high school kid, for a young kid, a true freshman, it's like drinking out of a fire hose. And so they were worried about, the mentally Roy Finch going in there and being able to know everything that was going on. It's just a difficult process. And so these are valuable snaps to be out there, taking snaps, running the offense, and it will provide teachable and coachable moments on film on Monday when they watch this film.
Injury to Clayton Lang as he is helped up off the field. Hey, college football today, of course, NFL on Fox comes up every Sunday. You don't want to miss it. Another big doubleheader coming up tomorrow. Paul Rhodes, just, it's like, who's next, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Lots of injuries on this defense, very thin, no depth. OU going to be content now to slow down the pace of this game clearly inside of 13 minutes in the 4th quarter. Getting the signals from the sideline. Drew Allen, another redshirt freshman, 6'5", 232, the quarterback. Now alerting the offensive line what the Sooners' plans are.
2nd and 7, the ball on the 23. Finch saw an opening. Now cuts back up, takes it down inside the 10-yard line. We're talking about NFL action tomorrow, doubleheader. Falcons taking on the Eagles in Philly, or Lions, Giants, Seahawks, Bears, or Saints, Bucks. How about the second one? Cowboys and Vikings, two desperate teams to try to keep their playoff hopes alive, even though we're going into what, week 5? Wow, what a big game that is. Fox NFL Sunday tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern. And every play, it seems, another Iowa State player suffers. And I'm going to call a official timeout here. We will take a break, and we'll be back with 11:36 to go, and Iowa State being shut out. Some video from the homecoming rally yesterday afternoon here on campus. A little 50s theme from the students enjoying themselves. Taking it back to yesteryear. And here's the future as Finch makes a nice run before he is planted by Jake Knott. As Knott, the sophomore, has not quit by any means.
No, he hasn't. He came into this game with 58 tackles. None better than this one. Stands Roy Finch up, drives him back, keeps his feet moving, gets him down to the ground. Jake Knott is a linebacker if there ever was one.
Yeah, he fits it, doesn't he? 6'2",
yeah,
240.
he sure does.
Sophomore from Iowa, as, again, Joel's mentioning, OU taking their time, milking the clock here.
A guy like Jake Knott has played a ton of snaps the last 3 weeks.
Finch, again, making people miss and then showing you that power. Some terrific collisions. Sandvig, that one, delivering it. He looks upset because he didn't score.
Well, I guarantee you he's upset with himself because he made too many moves. Hey, the coaches and Cale Gundy, the running backs coach, he's going to tell him in the film room, you get north and south, you square your shoulders to the goal line, and you go. Stop dancing inside the 10.
Yeah, you get down there, there's not a lot of room.
That's right. That's right. He'll break out the classic line, you're not in high school anymore, son.
So 3rd down and goal now. And Finch drags one with him, takes it down inside the 2. Sandvig makes it, and the fans thirsty for more here on homecoming. And Oklahoma, 600 yards of total offense now, 80 plays. 81 plays, 602 yards officially of total offense for the Sooners. They're on a 4th and goal here. Iowa State trying to stop him and take over on downs. And Finch did not get in. Cyclone football.
Good for them. Good for Iowa State. Bowing their neck. Down by 45, inside of 10 minutes in the 4th quarter. OU going for it on 4th down, and they make a stand. They're playing hard in there. You see Zach Sandvig, the safety, jump in there, senior from West Des Moines. Everybody playing hard for Paul Rhodes on the Iowa State side. David Sims in there, the senior from Gainesville, Florida. Very good safety for Paul Rhodes, but as thin as they are on defense and the injuries we saw in that last series, I got to commend these guys. That's A.J. Klein, 47, Jake Knott, number 20. They bowed their neck and had a nice stand at the goal line.
And now Iowa State operates on the 1, just trying to get some breathing room. And now remember, another sellout crowd here, and many of them still here. They want to see in this defensive front, they want to get a shutout. They haven't had a shutout this season. They had 3 last year, Idaho State as well as Tulsa, and then their last one, of course, was the Bedlam game against Oklahoma State University. But Travis Lewis was the one that said earlier in the week, hey, it's time to get a shutout. We need to stand up our defense. And now they got to go 99 yards, but they're not going to want to give up anything here defensively. Tiller, incomplete. Intended for Hammerschmidt, Kirk Hammerschmidt out of Chesterfield, Missouri.
And Aaron Colvin, number 14, true freshman, on the coverage. He's a guy who's a 5th-rated player out of Oklahoma last year out of high school. Been very good for them. He had to start last week, a couple weeks ago, in that huge game in the Cotton Bowl against Texas. And he was in bump man-to-man for most of that game because of their game plan trying to stop that run, and he played a sensational game for Bob Stoops and Brent Venables.
And they can't say enough good things about this young guy, how talented he is and how he gets it, as they say. And this one is complete to Johnson and about the 7. And now they'll have to kick it out of their own end zone, the Cyclones of Iowa State.
Good play there from Joseph Ibeloy, the sophomore from Garland. Moved from DB down to linebacker, kind of plays that nickel position behind Tony Jefferson. A lot of times they'll just play 5 defensive backs, Oklahoma will, and they'll just play nickel all the time to try to keep their speed and athleticism on the field.
Vanderkamp, who has averaged 47 yards plus a kick, gets another dandy as this one rolls all the way out to the 30 and the 31-yard line. So Vanderkamp has done his average some good and done his part here to try to keep Oklahoma away. Send it down to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, as you well know, Oklahoma on its way to becoming one of the very few undefeated teams remaining in college football. But when the season opened, they had a close call against Utah State to open the season. The panic buttons were located here in Norman. However, OU able to pull it off. They've won some close games in the non-conference schedule. Bob Stoops says, we don't mind that, though. We play the non-conference to prepare us for the Big 12, and it looks as if that's exactly what it's done here tonight.
Good. Thanks, Emily. You look at that schedule, and of course, Missouri, a huge game next week. They're going to move up in the rankings.
Especially with how good Missouri looks. They shut out Colorado last week, played very good down in College Station this week in a win over A&M. And if you think to the last couple of games last year, think about this growth that Oklahoma had after all their stars went down. They beat a ranked Oklahoma State team in Bedlam. Then they beat a ranked and very good Stanford team in the Sun Bowl. You know, they go against Utah State. They play very good against Florida State. Air Force is now ranked, a team that came in here to Owen Field and gave the Sooners all that they had. They have Missouri left. Here's some of the undefeated teams left in college football as Michigan State took care of business today. OU going to move to 6-0 after their win here tonight against Iowa State. Oregon has looked very impressive. Missouri, I tell you, Missouri is a team that I think could make some noise, especially in that North Division.
That was an impressive win today with what their defense did against the talented A&M offense.
That's something that we haven't seen from Missouri over the last couple of years. We've always known they can score points. And then they play defense, and now they can't.
Pardon me. Allen pitches it out here to Franks. And the other thing is, you saw some teams that weren't on that list tonight that were earlier today as far as the unbeaten. Ohio State, the #1, has lost to Wisconsin up in Madison tonight. And, of course, earlier in the Big 12, Nebraska fell to the Texas Longhorns. So the list keeps getting whittled down, and Oklahoma's in a pretty good position to where if they can get by Missouri, they've got a chance to really build some momentum toward the end of the season, and who knows what might happen. That's going to be a huge game up in Columbia next week.
Well, and you have to talk about it from this standpoint, too. Strength of schedule, BCS points, things of that nature. They need Missouri to keep winning if they're able to beat them next week.
Here's Clay on the run, and Brendan Clay, freshman from San Diego, stopped by Sims on the OU sideline.
They need Oklahoma State to continue to win football games. You need all these. They need Florida State to continue to win football. They need Air Force to possibly knock off Utah or have a big marquee win so that win here at home looks even better. It's a shame that we have to look at it from that standpoint, but that's college football as we know it.
Allen, the quarterback here in place of Landry Jones, who, if you have been with us all night, 30 of 34 for 334 and 3 touchdowns, and his longest, of course, a 40-yarder. Nothing but 3s and 4s. Allen shows you a little power on the run as he bangs into one of his own guys. Now, around the Big 12, as we mentioned, you never know what's going to happen every Saturday. Well, it all started Thursday when K-State just drilled Kansas, and Carson Kaufman a huge night. West Kemp of Missouri today.
Yeah, and Kemp had a great game, absolutely.
And Justin Blackman
just continues to play well. I mean, every week it's 10 catches, 150 yards, and the Nebraska defense, after being much maligned, they just ran through against UCLA at home in Austin. You never see that. Then they lose back-to-back weeks, and people were giving Nebraska, all the credit in the world. Now, this is going to be the first time Mac Brown's ever lost 3 in a row in the regular season. What do? They come out and put together a great defensive game plan. You got to credit Will Muschamp. Taylor Martinez ends up getting pulled out of that game.
Yeah, he was
in favor for Zach.
He was an
Lee.
all-NFL player last week.
He was the
now
toast of college football.
Now all of a sudden, say, wait a minute, he's not even able to finish the game. And that's how quickly it could change, and it's what makes college football just so exciting. And boy, a lot more to go. We're only at the halfway point for most of these teams. Oklahoma, just a very methodical drive here, very vanilla offensively, but they got great talent, and these youngsters want to prove themselves. And Brennan Clay, along with Finch, have been getting that opportunity in the bulk of this drive, along with quarterback Drew Allen. Benton makes the tackle here. Clay had a concussion against Florida State when he got injured and didn't play against Air Force in Cincinnati in very limited action. It's good to see him just back in the lineup and an opportunity to get some snaps. Oklahoma, 657 yards of offense. Iowa State, 183.
And they're getting close to the 90-play mark.
Amazing. Clay shedding tacklers. Drives it down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. That is the 90th play of the night as Knott makes the tackle.
3 yards to the 7-yard line.
You've seen tonight so many of these young players getting a chance to play. Why Bob Stoops has just been so excited about the youth of the program and what's ahead, and realizing this team, you made a good point earlier about the veteran players setting such a good example and work habits and practice, and these youngsters just soaking it all in.
Well, Bob's going to do this because he's a now guy. He understands college football. You brought up the point to him, hey, you got to be excited for 2-3 years down the road. And it was almost like someone shocked him. It was like, I haven't even thought of 2 or 3 years down the road. But, boy, this team, the way college football is setting up, with the way they're playing, with the opponents they have left on their schedule, this is a legitimate title contender.
Yep.
They're undefeated. They play in the Big 12 Conference. They're going to play an undefeated team on the road in Missouri next week. And they're continuing to get better. I love marquee early season matchups. We all do. We're all college football fans. However, the great teams play their best football in November. And I think Bob Stoops understands that. Other great coaches around college football, they understand that. You got to schedule those games, and they get it for TV early in the year. But you want to build. If you can just win those games early and you build and you continue to mature your team. This is a young team, and he wants to be playing his best football, towards December 4th, potentially, in the Big 12 championship game.
For the OU running in the 90s play-wise tonight, as you see the leaders. Clay on a 3rd and goal, unable to turn the corner, and OU coming down to a 4th and goal, and obviously keeping their options limited here. They're not going to do anything crazy that they may not get in again, as Iowa State has continued to just bow its neck and deny the touchdown so far.
That was a good play by David Sims, number 1. He was the 2009 Big 12 Defensive Newcomer of the Year last year, so this guy knows how to play defense. Didn't play in the opener against Northern Illinois, but has played very well since.
Finch is back in now with Allen, the quarterback, in the backfield. Inside 1:30 to go. And Allen himself keeps it and scores. Oklahoma touchdown. Drew Allen gets his first touchdown, and Oklahoma makes it 51-0.
Drew Allen on the zone read. Roy Finch thinks he's going to get the handoff. You can tell he stopped in the middle of the line of scrimmage looking for the ball. Drew Allen then put it back on his seat, tucked it, ran it, got it in the end zone for another OU touchdown.
So the Sooners. Barry Switzer is to say, well, go get a half 100 on Iowa State. They've done that tonight with 52 on the point after. And Allen taking it in for his first TD, and the Sooners rolling tonight over the Cyclones. Those kids have, no, we ain't going anywhere. 52-0 Jordan. What do you mean we got to leave, Dad? Oh, I'll tell you what, having fun here tonight. Fox Sports Southwest has got the Big 12 covered. We hope you log on now. Check out highlights, post-game press conferences from the weekend games. Check out your favorite Big 12 teams at Fox West Sports, FoxSportsSouthwest.com, I should say. And, of course, you're going to cover the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
They evened up their
how about that big win?
series.
I didn't think they would be able to come back mentally after blowing that lead late last night. But, hey,
That's a huge
credit that ball club coming back and winning today.
Probably to their benefit that they played again today and this afternoon.
And
Probably
even
wish they could have played a doubleheader.
Yeah.
Oklahoma will kick it off with 1:23 to go. Johnson and Blanton are deep, and it goes out of bounds. The flag is thrown there. Iowa State will get one more pop at it here. With 1:23 to go as Oklahoma trying to get the shutout.
By the kicking team. A rule to be ball will be put at the 40-yard line. First down.
Sooners are going to extend their home winning streak to 34 straight victories here. Started in September of 05 when they beat Tulsa. And Bob Stoops will go 70-2 at the Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium and Owen Field. So the Cyclones get it at the 40. The ball going out of bounds on the kick. And Tiller remains as the quarterback. The sophomore replacing Austin Arnaud. Scrambles, and now finally brought down. A lot of yardage and a loss on the play. Coverage was there defensively. Macon and McFarland make the stop for the Sooners. Austin Arnaud tonight ended up 12 of 18 for 102 yards. Tiller's gone 3 of 9 for 22. The leading rusher on the night ended up being Robinson with 7 carries for 39. As Oklahoma's trio of stars all had banner nights, with Jones, Murray becoming the all-time touchdown maker here, and Brian Boyle's receiving record.
This is as tough a schedule as I've seen in a long time. Iowa State having to face. See, they go Iowa earlier in the year, which was a top 10 team at the time. They've got Utah. They've got OU here, where they're 70-2 now under Bob Stoops at home. They go to Austin. They've still got Missouri left. They've still got Nebraska left. This is a very good coaching staff at Iowa State. I want to pay Paul Rhodes the highest compliment I can possibly pay him by saying I would love to play for a guy like Paul Rhodes. I would play for him in a heartbeat.
Well, Iowa State travels to Austin. In fact, it'll be the second time in Big 12 history that a team has had to play OU and Texas back-to-back on the road, so it won't get much easier. Bob Stoops got to be elated. His team has played a phenomenal game tonight as they shut out Iowa State 52-0 and remain unbeaten, 6-0, ranked number 6, and no doubt moving up after what has happened on the landscape of college football earlier today.
Yeah, they could potentially be the 4th-ranked team, and depending on how the voters feel about a 52-0 win against a conference opponent, could move even higher than that in some of the polls. But Bob Stoops is going to be happy, not about where they're ranked. He's going to be happy about the efficiency of Landry Jones. He's going to be happy about the fact that they played their most complete football game of the year here tonight.
Let's send it down to Emily with Coach Stoops.
Coach, you said at halftime it was your team's most complete half. I've got to think you believe this is your team's most complete game.
Yeah, it is. And I've said all along, we're a work in progress. We got a ton of young players, and we just got to keep getting better, making improvement, and I feel like we are. But that's just one more game. We got to keep building from it.
You talk about DeMarco Murray and the career he's had for you, 58 touchdowns now.
Yeah, he's a special guy, and you're talking about a place that's had some special players. When you look at our history of our running backs, and for him to have that record is really special. He's a wonderful young man, plays hard all the time, great example for our other players, so I'm proud of him.
Landry Jones, 30 of 34 tonight, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
He's going to be on his way to being a really special player, and again, he's only a second year playing, and he's going to continue to get better and improve, but we're proud of Landry too.
Finally, your defense pitches a shutout. Brent Venables talked about it going into this game, the desire for his unit to do that.
Yeah, we played well for a long, in a bunch of games. We just kind of late in some games, we didn't play as sharp as we had in most of the other parts of the game. So it was good to finish it out. And and to play solid all the way through.
Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Congratulations on the win. Let's bring in the Oklahoma Sooners all-time leading touchdown maker, DeMarco Murray. First of all, congratulations on history. How did that one feel?
Feels good. You know, all I can say is I'm blessed. You know, I've been through a lot, and God has continued to bless me and continue to let me play the game I love so much. So, I owe it to my linemen. They've done a great job for me thus far.
When you look at the history of this program and the great players that have played here, to find your name at the top of that list, what's that like?
Unbelievable. You know, I still can't. I'm just still shocked about it. You know, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And like I said, you know, my line, you know, I owe it to those guys, and we're going to continue to, you know, try to get in the end zone.
Just talk about the way that this team is playing. It seems to be hitting its stride. Undefeated, those teams seem to be dwindling across the country. You guys remain one of them.
Yeah, you know, we're just trying to, you know, come out every week and get better each and every day in practice and continue to strive as an offense. You know, we've done a great job today. You know, we helped the defense out. They helped us out, and we're able to get a win. You know, Iowa State was a good team tonight. They played physical. DeMarco
Murray, congratulations on making history tonight. Another guy who had a pretty decent night, 30 of 34. Landry, just talk about how you were feeling it out there tonight.
You know, we had a really good game plan coming against these guys. I felt confident enough in it, and the offensive line did an incredible job. Receivers making plays. Felt like I was pretty accurate tonight, so I had a pretty decent night.
When you look at what you were able to do, especially with Ryan Broyles and then what DeMarco was able to do on the ground, that has to make you feel good as an offense as a whole.
Oh, absolutely. When you have playmakers like DeMarco and Ryan, and even some of the young guys coming out like Roy and Brennan and all those guys, especially in the running back position, we have great players here. We recruit well, and especially with DeMarco and Ryan, you can't say enough about those two.
You got a little rest in the fourth quarter. Landry Jones, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Bill, we'll send it back up to you and Joel.
All right, thanks, Emily. Congratulations to the Sooners, and particularly DeMarco Murray for the career
Great
achievement.
Kid.
Absolutely phenomenal night for Oklahoma in all phases of the game.
It absolutely was, specifically defensively. I know that they spend a lot of time with Brent Venables and everything that they do defensively, trying to get shutouts, trying to win the line of scrimmage, and they did all those things tonight. It's going to be a happy Monday morning for the Oklahoma Sooners when they turn on this film.
Sooners next up, another big matchup with another unbeaten University of Missouri next week, and Iowa State heads to Austin.
That'll be a great game.
Every week, a bunch of fun in the Big 12. Coming up next, some viewers will see the final score, while those of you in the Big 12 area, stay tuned for Big 12 Live. Next week, a college football Saturday tripleheader. It starts with Iowa State at Texas, followed by Arizona State at Cal in the Pac-10, then back to the Big 12, and Texas A&M heads to Kansas to meet the Jayhawks. For Joel Klatt, Emily Jones, and our entire college football Saturday crew, this is Bill Land saying so long from Oklahoma.